All right, everybody, tracking and campaign launch. Now it's time to learn how to ensure that you are tracking the results of your Facebook campaign and that you actually know how to launch a campaign inside of the Facebook ad platform. So let's do it.
Everybody, so in this video we are going to talk about tracking, so how you can ensure that you know the results of your ads. And I'm also just going to quickly walk through how to launch a campaign for anyone who has questions left in that area. So to start, you will need Google Analytics. So when it comes to tracking, there are a lot of ways to do this. And because we are all using different systems, different CRMs, different email service providers, I always recommend that advertisers use Google Analytics to track what's happening on their website because it's a common platform that we can all use. There's also a lot of tracking that can be done inside of the Facebook platform through the Facebook pixel, which we'll talk about later in this video and in the next video. But you don't want to rely solely on Facebook tracking. So Facebook can only see what Facebook sees. And what I mean by that is Facebook can really only track what the Facebook pixel is able to track, right? So for example, if someone visits a page twice, Facebook might not be able to tell that it was the same person that visited the page twice. Maybe they've cleared their cookies. Maybe for some reason they've blocked Facebook from tracking them. And so what's great about Google Analytics is that you're going to get a bit better data, even though it can be blocked from a cookie setting too. Google Analytics can be more reliable than Facebook when it comes to tracking. So I always like to do both. I always like to look at numbers inside of the Facebook ad platform and inside of Google Analytics. For more info on Google Analytics, please check out the Data and Analytics Mastery certification. That course with John Grimshaw goes in depth on this stuff to make sure you're getting the best tracking possible. But I'm going to let you know how this functions from the ad side. So we'll be using UTM parameters, and these are parameters that give Google Analytics the information they need to know where the traffic has come from so that they can attribute a sale, a lead, a page view, or whatever it is that you're looking for. And so UTM parameters look like this, right? And I'll show you where this goes inside of Ads Manager. But what's important is that you change the areas here that are in blue. So everything that's in black stays the same. You're just going to change these blue areas based off of the ad that you're running. So the source is Facebook, but if it was YouTube or another traffic source, you would obviously want to change that. The medium, PPC, so pay per click is usually what I use. Feel free to use another term. The term here is cold one. So this is where I differentiate the ad set that I'm using. So again, you could use another naming convention like ad set one. I use cold one because I have cold and warm ad set audiences here. And then the rest of this can stay the same because what's beautiful is that by putting in the ad name here, Facebook's actually just going to send whatever you have named that particular ad in Facebook, send that name and that information over to Google Analytics. And same thing with the campaign name. They're able to pass these two data sources. So you only need to change what is here in blue. And let me show you where this lives. So you have Google Analytics set up, you're ready to rock and roll, and you're here at the ad level, right? So we've input our copy, our URL. So this is just the direct URL to the landing page. And then down here, you see this URL parameter option under tracking. And so this is where I'm going to input that text that you saw on the slide. And again, what's awesome about this is that I didn't have to put it on the link up here. I didn't have to put it on a link in the news feed text. I was able to just put this information right here in this URL parameter box, and this is going to pass the information over to Google Analytics that it needs to properly attribute any activity that's going on the website back to the correct ad. So you want to make sure that you're using UTMs for each ad that you launch so that you can differentiate them and so that Google Analytics knows the difference between the ads. So this is my best form of tracking, using Google Analytics with these UTM parameters to pass over that information. But as I told you, you can also look at similar data inside of Facebook. And so this is an ad account of my friends Code and Quill. They're selling notebooks. And so you can see that for these campaigns, they've optimized for purchases. So we're able to see how many purchases were made. We were able to see the cost per result, right? The cost per purchase here. And so this alone is great data to look at when you're making decisions on how to optimize or scale your campaign. Again, I trust Google Analytics data more than I trust this data. This is usually within 10 to 20% of accuracy, but it's good enough data that we can make decisions on how to optimize and scale, right? So you see that all of these cost per purchase is pretty solid here. Ronek's doing a great job. But if one of them was $80, that would probably fall out of the CPA goal here, and we would want to turn that campaign off, or we would want to optimize it. So we can use the numbers here inside of the Facebook platform to make decisions like you just saw, but we definitely want to rely on UTMs and Google Analytics to look at overall return on ad spend, and more influential numbers that we want to make sure we really trust. Now, when you're here inside of the Facebook platform, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Facebook pixel in the next video, but if you head over to the pixel area of Business Manager, you'll see this is Code and Quill's Facebook pixel, but you will see something similar for your Facebook pixel. And so if you haven't set up your pixel on your site, you need to do that through this setup button here. But what's great is that Facebook has different events now that you can differentiate on your website. So you can see that you can tell Facebook when there's a page view, when someone's viewed content, added to cart, initiated checkout, purchased, when they became a lead, they added payment info, whatever events you want to track on your website, that can be done here through events and the Facebook pixel. And this allows us to do further tracking that we're then able to view inside of the Facebook Ads Manager. Now, there are also tons of other numbers that you can look through that we're not going to have time to go through all of them today. But if you click on column and then you click on customize column, you can scroll through the various amounts of data and types of data that you can check out. So things like frequency, right? The average number of times that each person saw your ad. Right? Page posts. You can see how many likes, comments, engagements, reactions, check-ins. You can see costs. There are messenger statistics that you can look at. Tons of video statistics here. You can look at unique clicks, right? The click-through rate, outbound click-through rate, cost per click. And just scrolling through there, again, tons of data points that you can look at when studying the performance of your campaigns or ad sets or ads, inside of Ads Manager. You can even look at whether they're URL parameters or not. So I highly recommend, especially if you're just getting familiar with Facebook, that you definitely get Google Analytics set up so that you can really track the on-site behavior of these visitors, and so that you can ensure that your campaign is providing the amount of return on ad spend or leads or whatever your big success metric is for that campaign. But I also encourage you to dive into the metrics that live here inside of the Facebook ad platform, because what you'll find in the next module is that a lot of your optimization and scaling decisions are going to be made based off of the data that you see here inside of Ads Manager. All right, guys, so now let's quickly show you how to set up an ad. We've already gone through what all of this means, but I just want to show you from start to finish what this looks like. So let's imagine that we're setting up a conversion campaign here. And your campaign name, those naming conventions are really going to be up to you. Some people like to start with the date that the campaign started. Some people like to start with the product name that they're ultimately selling. Completely up to you. And then here we're able to create a split test. I usually don't use this feature. And we're able to set the budget at the campaign level if we would like. But this is just a test, so I'm not going to use either of those. If we were going to scale, I would set the campaign at the budget level. So here's where you name your campaign. So let's just name this Cold One. We've been through all of this. You decide what you want to optimize for, all of your targeting, your placement, your budget, and your schedule. So we would, set this up depending on the goals of our campaign. You're going to continue, of course, and then this is going to spit you out at the ad level. And this is where we're going to upload our creative. We're going to decide if we're using a video, a carousel, a collection, a slideshow. We're going to upload that information here. And then down below is where we're going to input our text, our URL, our headline. We're going to select if we want a call to action button or not. We're going to scroll down. We're going to input our URL parameters here. We're going to make sure that the Facebook pixel is ticked on as it is here and that we have a green light. And then we're going to hit confirm. So when it comes down to it, setting up an ad campaign is actually pretty simple. The hard part is doing all of the legwork of creating the campaign assets that we talked about, writing your ad copy, having your ad creative made. When it finally comes time to set up the tracking and launch the campaign, you're actually at the easy part of this whole process. So congratulations, guys. I hope you found this video useful, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for being here.